Some of the benefits of a plant-based diet for a teenager are just general well-being. You're gonna feel good, you're gonna have more energy, but some things that teens are particularly interested in is clear skin. You might be able to get rid of your acne, and for girls, it might also help your menstrual cramps, make your periods more regular, and you can also maintain a nice, healthy, good-feeling, light-feeling body. Hi Veggie Fit families, it's Dr. Yami and welcome to Veggie Fit Kids. Today I want to talk about teenagers. We all love them, right? I am so happy because lately I've had a few teens that have come into my office asking for advice on nutrition. And a few of them that have decided that they either want to eat a vegetarian or vegan diet. Usually they come to me because parents are concerned. They're worried. Is it okay for my teen to eat this way? Don't they need to have meat and milk in their diet to be healthy? Well, first of all, I want to reassure you parents, not only is it safe, but it can be incredibly healthy. However, there are a few mistakes that teens might make whenever they're trying to transition to a meat-free or vegan diet. The first thing is that they focus on just eating foods like lettuce and tomatoes or French fries because they forget about the whole array of plant foods out there that are going to support their nutrition. So I wanted to show you the power plate. So for you teens out there that want to eat a plant-based diet, don't neglect the components of the power plate. Obviously, there's vegetables and fruit, but there's also whole grains and beans. Beans especially are really important, especially for you athletes out there, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But don't neglect all the components of the power plate. And for the active teens, in addition, getting in those nuts and seeds is also helpful. All right. So if you're gonna do this, I am so happy, go for it. But I'm gonna give you 6 tips for success. Number 1, you have to take your vitamin. So either taking a multivitamin that has B12 or vitamin D in it, or taking separate B12 and vitamin D vitamins is something that I advise that you do. For busy teens, probably taking a daily vitamin is better because that way you know it's part of your routine, something that you do every day. However, you can also take a higher dose B12 vitamin that you take 2 or 3 times a week. I have a separate video on this that you can look up for special dosing considerations. But please don't forget to take your vitamin. Number 2, one of the mistakes that teens make is to not have enough time to eat or make themselves food. I know you're really busy, you have lots of activities, and you want to get some sleep in the morning, and that's completely understandable. If you're not hungry, you don't have to eat. However, a lot of the times you may neglect eating just because you're rushed and don't have time. But if you plan ahead, there are some portable meals that you can take with you, especially for breakfast. So I'm gonna give you 2 ideas for breakfast. The first is overnight oats, and you can just make this 1 day a week on Saturday or Sunday afternoon, get all of your overnight oats ready. You can even make different flavors. And in the morning, when you're headed out the door, just grab one from the fridge and eat it on the way to school. The second idea is to pack some nuts and a piece of fruit or a high quality nut bar that's focused on whole foods and an apple or a banana and throw that in your backpack, and then when between classes when you have time, you can fuel up for breakfast. So don't neglect eating when you're actually hungry just because you don't have time. Tip number 3, lunch can be a little bit tricky. Depends on what they serve at your school. If you're not gonna pack your lunch, which might be the easiest thing to do to ensure that you're getting something delicious and yummy and that fills you up and satisfies you, there are certain things that you can look for in your cafeteria. One is a salad bar, but whenever you're making a salad, don't just focus on the lettuce. Look for some beans, look for some nuts and seeds, because that's gonna give you some calories and some energy. There's also a few other foods that you might wanna look for that can also provide you that energy that you may not think of. One of them is potatoes. And I know what you're thinking, French fries, but besides French fries, baked potatoes and mashed potatoes, if they're available, can give you a good base, good satiety, and then find some way to put some beans and veggies and some fruit on the side. That works really well. Things like spaghetti and marinara sauce work really well. So if you're in your cafeteria, you just have to be savvy about finding all the different components of the power plate and putting it together for your meal. But it can be just as easy to make yourself a hummus sandwich with some lettuce and tomato, or a bean burrito, or a wrap, and throw in some fruit, maybe a little packet of guacamole. That's something that you can also get ready at home and pack your own lunch for school. Tip number 4, don't be afraid to use convenience foods, especially if the rest of your family isn't on board with the way that you're eating. You may have to cook some of the things yourself. So some of the things that you can get, and it's easy to fix, are frozen vegetables. You can put those in the freezer and they're not going to go bad because they're frozen. And then you can defrost them, steam them, and put them into all of your different dishes. So frozen vegetables work really well. Canned beans are a lifesaver. There's so many different kinds of beans. They're so yummy. You can put them into your salad. You can make them into soups. You can mash them and make them into dips and use them in a variety of different ways. Frozen fruit works well. If you have time to make yourself a smoothie, that's available to you as well. And stores like Costco offer a lot of whole foods convenience foods, like prepackaged little hummus packets or prepackaged guacamole packets. There's even shelf-stable whole grains that all you got to do is put it in the microwave for 90 seconds. So there's a lot of products that, if you're willing to look, are available to you, and then you can make meals in a matter of minutes. Tip number 5, eat sufficient calories. Some teens out there are in competitive sports. You might be exercising 1, 2, or 3 hours a day. It's really important that you eat enough. And believe me, it's definitely possible to eat enough on a plant-based diet, but you have to make sure you're eating the right component of the power plate. So remember when I talked about the power plate? The components of the power plates that are more dense and that have the most bang for your buck as far as calories are going to be your legumes, your grains, and your nuts and seeds. So if you're a competitive athlete, you don't have a lot of time to be eating all day long, you want to make sure that all of your meals have beans, nuts and seeds, and whole grains in them, so that you can make sure that you're getting adequate fuel for all of your training and your practices. Tip number 6, drink plenty of water. I would prefer you to be drinking water throughout the day than energy drinks or soda or any of those kinds of things. You want to make sure that you stay hydrated. This is going to make your body feel good. It's going to make your brain alert, give you more energy. So make sure you're taking your water bottle with you, and especially if you're an athlete, you're drinking water throughout the day, throughout your exercise, for your better health. Even though it can be confusing and difficult at first, actually it gets fun to look for different vegan foods wherever you go. There's almost no place that I can't find something that is both delicious and satisfying for me to eat, because I've made it a challenge. So maybe you can make it a challenge too. Every day, try to find some new vegan food that you can eat in your cafeteria or at a restaurant you visit. I hope that this was helpful. I'd love to make more teen videos, so please tell me, what questions do you have? If you're a teen, what do you want to know? If you're a parent, what are you most concerned about? And I am happy to answer. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like, comment below, and if you think it would help others, please share. Thank you for watching, and have a plantastic day.
And then I just went on a cleanse one year. Yeah, I was one of those yo-yo dieters. Like every January I was on some diet trying to figure out how I got another 10 pounds back. And that particular year, instead of South Beach diet, instead of Weight Watchers, it was a cleanse with my yoga instructor. And it's a cleanse of no dairy, no alcohol, no sugar, no caffeine, and no wheat for 16 days. Good news is I brought 4 of those things back. But I realized during those 16 days, I'm like, oh, I've been eating vegan. Fine, I'll just go ahead and be a vegan. So that's how it happened.
And then you've told me that when you announced to your husband that you were going to go vegan, the response was a little different, right?
Yeah, when I made that proclamation, I said, "Hey, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and go vegan now." He's like, "You're on your own." He's like, "I don't know what to do with you." And so I was 45 years old at that point. I hadn't been really doing much cooking for years. And so I was a new vegan and I was back in the kitchen. And that was really how all of this, now the blogging and books and everything, really all happened because I was a 45-year-old woman who made a dramatic lifestyle diet.